I'm 26 years old. And until recently, I believed that if I stayed quiet long enough, eventually things would get better. I believed that if I didn't complain, if I didn't cause problems, if I didn't ask for too much, my family would one day see me. I was wrong. Because silence doesn't protect you. It just makes it easier for people to hurt you without witnesses. 2 weeks ago, I woke up in an ambulance gasping for air. My throat burning. My chest tight like someone had wrapped wire around my lungs. When the paramedic asked for my emergency contact, I tried to answer. But nothing came out. Not because I couldn't speak, but because I realized there was no one to call. No parent waiting at the hospital. No sibling pacing the hallway. No family member who would be worried enough to rush to my side. And then the paramedic frowned at his screen and said something. That changed everything. Your sister already called us. At first, I felt relief. Until he added. She told us you have a history of exaggerating medical emergencies. And that we shouldn't rush. That's when it hit me. This wasn't bad luck. This wasn't an accident. Someone had planned this. And they were confident I wouldn't survive long enough to tell my side. Before I explain how I ended up there, on the edge of dying alone, I need to take you back. For weeks earlier, to the day my grandmother collapsed. The call came on a Tuesday afternoon, 2:41 p.m. I remember the time because I was at work, standing in the children's section of the local library, putting books back on the shelf for the third time, because I couldn't focus. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. I wish I had ignored it. Hello. Is this Emily Carter? Yes. This is Mercy Ridge Hospital. Your grandmother was brought in by ambulance. She's had a stroke. The words didn't make sense at first. They just floated in the air between us. A stroke. I don't remember hanging up. I don't remember grabbing my bag. I don't remember driving. I just remember running. The hospital smelled like disinfectant and fear. White walls. Beeping machines. Shoes squeaking against tile. I found her room at the end of the hallway. She looked smaller than I remembered. So still. Tubes everywhere. Monitors rising and falling with mechanical patience. I pulled a chair to her bedside and took her hand. Cold. But I held it anyway. She was the only one who ever really held mine. Every Sunday for 6 years, I drove 40 minutes to her house. We baked together. She told me stories about my grandfather. She asked if I was eating enough, sleeping enough, living enough. You love quietly, she used to say. But you love deeply. Never let anyone turn that into a weakness. My mother never came on Sundays. Too busy. My sister never came. Too important. But I came. Every week. A doctor eventually stepped into the room. She's stable, he said. But she's in a coma. We don't know if or when she'll wake up. Is there family we should notify? I'll call them, I said. I sat alone for almost 30 minutes. Before anyone else arrived. 30 minutes of whispering. I'm here. You're not alone. I didn't know then that I would be the one who ended up alone. The sound of heels came first. My mother entered the room like she owned it. Perfect hair. Perfect posture. Perfect concern arranged on her face. My sister followed, glued to her phone. Same face as mine. Same birthday. Completely different life. My father came last. Quiet. Always quiet. How long have you been here? My mother asked. No hook. No, are you okay? About half an hour. She walked past me to the bed, studying the machines like she understood them. Has the doctor said anything about her prognosis? She's in a coma. My sister glanced up. Oh, you're here. Then she smiled. I thought you'd be too sick to come. I swallowed. I've fine. She tilted her head. You look tired. Pale. You really should take better care of yourself. My mother interrupted. Emily, go get us coffee. We need to talk to the doctor. I waited for my father to say something. He didn't. So I left. But I didn't go far. I stopped just outside the door, pretending to scroll on my phone. That's when I heard my mother's voice. Lo, urgent. Did she ever say anything about the will? My stomach dropped. My grandmother was lying unconscious. And money was the first thing on her mind. That was the moment everything began to rot. That night, my apartment felt smaller than usual. 600 square feet. Second-hand furniture. Plants I talked to when it got too quiet. My sister lived in a luxury apartment downtown. Doorman. Balcony. Views. The family group chat lit up for the first time in months. Mom. Family meeting tomorrow. 10 a.m. My house. Regarding mother's care. Sister. I'll be there. No one asked if I could make it. They never did. I opened my nightstand drawer. Inside were my important things. And a letter. Yellowed paper. Shaky handwriting. My grandmother gave it to me 3 years ago. Keep this safe, she'd said. When I'm gone, a man will find you. He'll explain everything. I read it again. I see you. I've always seen you. And I've made sure you'll be taken care of no matter what your mother tries to do. I didn't understand it then. But I would. Soon. The family meeting felt like a courtroom. My mother in her chair. My sister beside her. My father in the corner. I sat on a hard dining chair, the only seat left. We need to discuss medical proxy, my mother said. We've decided your sister will handle it. I visit her every week, I said. I know her doctors. That won't be necessary. My sister smiled. I have a flexible schedule. And honestly, you barely manage your own health. I looked at my father. He stared at the floor. Fine, I said. The meeting ended. Oh, my mother added casually. Your sister's birthday party is next Saturday. Family only. I waited. Nothing. What about my birthday? I asked. Same day. My mother waved a hand. You don't like parties anyway. I drove home in silence. 26 years of being the afterthought. The package arrived the night before my birthday. Pink box. Silver ribbon. A card. Happy birthday. Sorry I've been distant. I wanted to do something nice. My sister's name at the bottom. Inside were cupcakes. Beautiful. Professional. From a bakery I trusted. The only nut-free place I ever ate from. I hesitated. My sister had never apologized before. But loneliness is loud. And hope is dangerous. The next morning, my birthday, I woke up to nothing. No calls. No texts. I opened social media. My sister's party was already in full swing. Decorations. Cake. Guests. Caption. Surrounded by everyone I love. I sat on the kitchen floor for a long time. Then I lit a candle. One cupcake. One flame. Happy birthday to me. I took a bite. Vanilla. Sweet. Then. Something else. Nutty. My throat started to itch. No. I checked the cupcake. The texture was wrong. My lips tingled. My tongue swelled. I reached for my bag. No EpiPen. I'd forgotten to refill it. Panic took over. I'm having an allergic reaction, I gasped. Help was on the way. Then the operator paused. Your sister already called. The room tilted. She said you fake reactions for attention. My vision went dark. The last thing I heard was sirens. They almost didn't rush. I woke up to the sound of machines. A steady beeping. A hiss of oxygen. Bright lights burning behind my eyelids. For a moment, I didn't know where I was. Then my throat burned. My chest ached. Hospital. I was alive. A mask covered my face. Someone noticed my eyes open. There she is, a man said gently. Easy. You're safe. He wore a Navy uniform. Name tag clipped to his chest. Aaron. Paramedic. You had a severe anaphylactic reaction, he said. We stabilized you in the ambulance. You're going to be okay. I tried to speak. My voice came out raw. My sister. Aaron's jaw tightened slightly. I know, he said quietly. That's actually something I need to talk to you about. He pulled a chair closer. Your sister called emergency services before you did, he said. She told dispatch you exaggerate reactions for attention. Said we shouldn't rush. I stared at him. That didn't sit right with me, he continued. Because when we arrived, your oxygen levels were dangerously low. Your airway was nearly closed. I swallowed hard. That wasn't exaggeration, he said. That was real. A memory surfaced. The cupcakes. The taste. The timing. How did she know? I whispered. How did she know I'd react that night? Aaron didn't answer right away. Does your sister know about your allergy? He asked. She's known since we were kids. His silence was loud. Someone wanted you to eat that, he said carefully. And someone wanted us to hesitate. I felt sick. Not from the reaction. From the realization. No one from my family came that night. No mother pacing the hall. No sister crying at my bedside. I stared at the ceiling, replaying everything. The fake concern. The birthday I wasn't invited to. The cupcakes. My phone buzzed the next morning. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. Hello. Emily Carter? Yes. My name is Thomas Reed. I'm your grandmother's attorney. I sat up too fast. She told me to contact you if anything happened to her, or to you. My heart started racing. She prepared documents, he said. Important ones. I think it's time you saw them. We met 2 days later. Not at his office. At the hospital. He brought a thick envelope. Your grandmother changed her will 2 years ago, he said. After overhearing a conversation between your mother and sister. I opened the file. My name was everywhere. The house. The savings. Everything. She wanted to protect you, he said. She didn't trust them. I thought about the cupcakes. She was right. But money wasn't enough. They almost killed me. And they were still telling their version of the story. I needed proof. Aaron connected me with a friend, a digital forensics specialist. Do you share cloud storage with your family? He asked. We used to, I said slowly. I don't think they ever removed me. We tried the old password. It worked. What we found made my blood run cold. Text messages. Between my mother and my sister. Planning. Timing. Ingredients. Make sure they use almond flour. She never refills her EpiPen. I'll call 911 first. Say she's dramatic. They didn't just want me sick. They wanted me silent. I couldn't breathe. They discussed the will, the specialist said quietly. They believed if you died, everything would stay in their control. My hands shook. This wasn't cruelty. This was calculated. My grandmother was still in a coma. But the doctors said something strange. She's responding, one said. Squeezing hands. Heart rate changes when family speaks. An idea formed. A dangerous one. A family meeting, I said. In her room. The attorney hesitated. If she hears, it could shock her system. She deserves the truth, I said. So does everyone else. They all came. My mother. My sister. Aunts. Uncles. Cousins. Concerned faces. Black clothing. A performance. My sister cried. She's always been fragile, she told the nurse. We worry about her exaggerating symptoms. I said nothing. Not yet. The attorney stepped forward. There's been a legal development, he said. My mother stiffened. A will, he continued. One that changes everything. He read it aloud. My sister stood up, furious. This is fraud, she shouted. That will is legally verified, he replied calmly. Then he read the letter. My grandmother's words. About jealousy. About cruelty. About fear for my safety. Gasps filled the room. My mother tried to interrupt. She was confused. She passed a cognitive evaluation, the attorney said. She knew exactly what she was doing. I stepped forward. I almost died, I said. Silence. I pulled out my phone. And here's why. I read the messages out loud. Every word. The plan. The timing. The lie to emergency services. My sister screamed. That's fake. The specialist spoke. The data is authenticated. Metadata intact. My mother didn't speak at all. Then. A sound. Weak. But unmistakable. Emily. Every head turned. My grandmother's eyes were open. The nurse rushed in. She's awake. My mother moved closer. Mother. I heard. My grandmother whispered. I heard enough. She looked at me. Tears slid down her temples. I'm sorry, she said. But you're safe now. She looked at my mother. You are no longer my daughter. My sister collapsed into sobs. Security escorted them out. This time, no smiles. No control. Outside the room, Aaron stood quietly. You did the right thing, he said. I know, I replied. For the first time in my life. I really did. The arrest didn't happen immediately. Real life doesn't work that way. There were interviews first. Statements. Evidence reviews. I told my story 3 times in 1 week. To police officers. To investigators. To a district attorney who never once looked away while I spoke. They used the word attempt. Attempted poisoning. Attempted interference with emergency response. Conspiracy. Hearing it framed that way made my hands shake. Not because it wasn't true, but because it finally was. A detective named Laura Martinez called me on a Friday morning. Based on the digital evidence and medical records, she said, we're moving forward with charges. My sister was charged with attempted bodily harm and reckless endangerment. My mother was charged as an accessory. I hung up and sat on the floor for a long time. I didn't cry. I felt empty. The news spread faster than I expected. Someone leaked the story. A quiet headline on a local site turned into something louder. Woman arrested after allegedly poisoning twin sister with known allergen. People shared it, commented, speculated. My sister's employer issued a statement within 48 hours. She was terminated. My mother quietly resigned from every board she sat on. The phone stopped ringing for them. For me, it started. Relatives who hadn't spoken to me in years reached out. Some apologized. Some asked questions I didn't answer. I learned quickly who wanted truth and who just wanted gossip. The trial took 6 months to begin. 6 months of waiting, of therapy, of nightmares, of learning how to exist without bracing for impact. My grandmother recovered slowly. Speech therapy, physical therapy. One afternoon she took my hand and said, I'm still here. I held on to that sentence like oxygen. The courtroom was smaller than I imagined. Wooden benches. Muted colors. Too quiet. My sister sat at the defense table. She looked smaller. Not weak, just exposed. My mother sat beside her, rigid, unreadable. I was called to the stand on the 3rd day. My heart pounded, but my voice didn't shake. I told them everything. The birthday. The cupcakes. The lie to emergency services. I described the feeling of not being able to breathe, while someone else decided whether I deserved help. The prosecutor asked, Did you believe your sister intended to harm you? I looked at her. Yes, I said. Because she planned it. The defense tried to paint me as emotional, sensitive, unstable, the way they always had. But evidence doesn't care about family narratives. The messages were displayed on a screen. Dates, times, exact words. The jury watched. So did my mother. My sister cried. Not when I spoke, but when the forensic expert testified. When the defense had no answer. The verdict came on a Thursday afternoon. The jury didn't take long. Guilty. On all counts. My sister was sentenced to prison. Not long enough to satisfy anger, but long enough to matter. My mother received a suspended sentence and probation. Due to age and health. She never looked at me. Not once. I didn't need her to. Healing didn't happen all at once. It happened quietly. In small, ordinary moments. In mornings where I woke up without panic. In laughter that surprised me. In learning that peace feels strange at first. When chaos has been your normal. I moved into my grandmother's house. The place smelled like lemon cookies and safety. I painted the walls. Planted new flowers. I made it mine. Without erasing her. One evening, sitting on the porch, I realized something. I wasn't waiting anymore. Not for approval. Not for apologies. Not for permission to exist. I had survived the worst thing my family could do to me. And I was still here. Breathing. Living. Free. If you're listening to this, and you've ever been made to feel invisible, or dramatic for protecting yourself, or guilty for needing boundaries, this is your reminder. Surviving is not weakness. Speaking is not betrayal. And choosing peace is not losing. Sometimes justice is loud. Sometimes healing is quiet. And sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is stay.